And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport for today's episode of the World Cup Selector. And it should be quite a cool one. We're doing scrum halves today, and we're really starting to come to, the main part of the squad selection. As you can see over there, we've got a full pack, which we have picked over the last 2 weeks to determine exactly who's going to go to France and who's not at this stage. Now, the next thing we need to do is pick some scrum halves. On Wednesday, we're going to pick some fly-halves. Next week, however, will be the last week of the series. We'll be doing centers as well as outside backs. And then we will be doing an episode where we will pick a final 23. So if you are new to the concept, it's quite simple. Basically, what we do is we throw out some names, you run some polls, and everybody goes and votes on exactly who they would like to see in the squad. And we kind of sit there building a squad like that. Basically, how we've been doing it is that we have been basing it on the last World Cup squad in terms of the number of players going in each position. And then we have got two additional players. We've got two additional spots, for example, that we can then use. So, for example, we at this stage have taken an extra forward in Jasper Wiese. We've taken an extra loose forward compared to what we took. I mean, in 2019, we took 5 loose forwards. And over here, you can see we've got 6 with Zeklis, PSDF, Toy Drake, Dian Free, Quacker Smith, and Jasper Wiese. So the next thing we're going to do is pick 3 scrum halves, 3 fly halves, or 2 fly halves, really, because that's kind of what we went last time. And it depends on what we're going to sort of classify. Because last time, David Billings was classified as a fly half, although he sort of actually replaced JC Creel in the squad. So it's more sort of in it as a utility back. But yeah, so we're going to be picking 2 fly halves on Wednesday. And then next week, we're going to be clicking on 4 centers. And then we're going to do some outside backs, some wings and fullbacks. And eventually, we will have a 23-man squad as chosen by you guys. And then we're going to be doing an episode where we'll be taking the 33-man squad and whittling down to a final 23, deciding who starts, who's on the bench. If we were to play a final tomorrow, basically what it would look like. And that's going to be really, really cool. So, first of all, a big thank you to everybody who's been involved so far. As I said, we've got about 5 episodes left in the series. It should be quite a lot of fun. We're now getting some very controversial ones. So today we're going to be doing scrum half. So you think of your Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickson, Grant Williams, Kobus Reinachs. Those sort of your main players. Herschel Yankees, for example, playing very well at the moment as well. So it should be interesting to see what we decide to do with the scrum halves. Before we go into some of the comments here, AC saying, I think the Humber, more of a utility player, can kick. I'm disappointed or was part injured again. He didn't play yesterday because of a calf strain, but all signs point to the fact that he's actually all right. It was more precautionary thing than anything else, and certainly nothing that we need to be worried about with regards to the Springboks or the World Cup this year. But we'll talk a bit more about Pollard on Wednesday when we do our fly half. Today we are focusing on our number 9s. And so we're going to throw some names out. Back in 2019, we took Faf de Klerk, Herschel Yankees, Kobus Reinach. Faf de Klerk was the preferred starter. Herschel Yankees came off the bench. And Kobus Reinach played a couple of games. Playing very well at the moment is Kobus Reinach. Faf de Klerk, I think, is still probably the incumbent number 9. Jaden Hendrickson played a lot last year. Grant Williams has been invited to training camps as well. So interesting to see that he's involved. At this stage, Herschel Yankees not involved. He's kind of fallen out of favour. Although, as I said, in the last couple of weeks, I think that Herschel Yankees has been playing close to some of his best rugby that we've seen probably since the last World Cup, which is very cool to see. So hopefully he is starting to get himself back onto back into form and stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's start with building a poll, shall we? Who is the first number 9 into the squad? And I'm going to put in Faf de Klerk. I'm going to put in Kobus Reinach. I'm going to throw in Jaden Hendrickson. And I put in Grant Williams. Those are the 4 that seem to have been involved the most with the box over the last sort of year. So I'm going to throw that out there. You guys can go and get voting and stuff like that. For me, I'm very interested to see if Grant Williams might get an opportunity. He's probably been the form scrum half of the URC competition. And in fact, tomorrow I'm going to be having my URC team of the season from a segment basically coming out, which should be quite cool. Be interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Today as well, we're going to be doing a URC review. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a URC team of the week. which will come out as well as on Wednesday within 5 things learned from the URC. With regards to Curry Cup, we're going to be having a review coming out today as well as the 5 things learned on Wednesday. So that's kind of the Curry Cup content and stuff that's going to be coming out as well. And yeah, as I said, on Wednesday we'll be doing the next part of this series. And then from there, the rest of the week, we're sort of building up to the weekend. As the rugby sort of season, the domestic season kind of comes to an end. So we've been doing a lot more Curry Cup coverage on Friday. Hopefully we're going to be doing Western Province versus Pumas as well as Sharks versus Cheetahs. Saturday they've got Griffins versus Creekwood, Lions versus Bulls, Saturday at 5 o'clock. But also we are going to be looking at the Champions Cup final, which is at 5:45 on Saturday as well. So we might even have 2 sheets running at the same time during that game. Leinster versus Lower Shell at the Aviva Stadium. And that should be absolutely epic. And then next weekend, we've got the URC final, which at this stage is scheduled for 6:30 Stormers versus Munster next week, Saturday. Should be an absolute cracker as well. Top 14 is moving into sort of the final stage as well as Premiership, for example. We saw playoffs yesterday for Premiership begin. Top 14. Still got quite a few fixtures left. They sort of play quite late into the year. I think the Premiership final is scheduled for, I think, next weekend. Then we get the URC final. So we'll be doing that as well. Saracens versus the Sale Sharks. Should be quite cool to see what happens there. Quite a few South Africans involved in the Sale Sharks, for example. So there we go. There we go. And yeah, well, any further ado, I hope you guys are voting. And we've got 13 votes at the moment. Let's see if we can get that towards 15 votes. And then we'll sort of close it there. We'll add our first name to the sheet. At this stage, it looks like Faf de Klerk is getting quite a lot of support. Interesting to see the support that Grant Williams is getting. As I said, he's been playing very good rugby for the Sharks. Very different to sort of what this traditional, or what the Springbok Scrummers of recent times, sort of the mold that they're looking for. But it's got that X factor, doesn't it? You've got something that can do, he can do stuff that other people can't. Going to some of the comments, I'll be saying it's Hold, be Faf, Reinick, and maybe Williams. It's saying it should be Faf, Reinick, and maybe Williams. Andrew saying if Hendricks Bosch's name is good to play, then he'll get selected, no doubt. James White saying having Grant Williams on the bench gives us more versatility. If you go with a 6-2 split because he can play on the wing, I think so does Reinick, to be fair, from a pace perspective. But yeah, Grant Williams probably played a bit more on the wing than Reinick has in recent times. We have got 15 votes, so I'm going to end it there. I'm going to add our first name to the list, which is going to be none other than the incumbent Faf de Klerk, who I thought started the season pretty averagely last year, but by the end of the year was playing much better rugby. And I think we all know he is very important to the way that we play, in terms of the defensive structure, for example. But tactical kicking obviously a very important thing. We do play a lot of 9, and we kick a lot of 9 as well. So for example, Grant Williams, that's an area of his play that he's going to have to improve if he's going to want to play for the Springboks. That he needs to be very good with his tactical kicking and box kicking and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be interesting to see now who is going to join him, because we're now going to another poll out, and who is the next number 9 on into the squad. And we're now going to take that click out. We're going to have Jaden Hendrickson. We're going to have Grant Williams. We're going to have Kobus Reinoch. And we're going to throw in Herschel Yankees, who I've actually been very impressed with in the last sort of 6 weeks. Very interesting to see how he plays next weekend, and whether he can solidify a second URC title. So there we go. I'm going to throw that out there to you guys to start voting. Obviously, Reinoch and Williams offer similar things, so maybe have Hendrickson instead of Williams. Well, there we go. Let's go and see. So we'll go and vote. As I said, we've now got almost over 20 people in the chat, so keep going and voting. And let me know who you guys are back and who you guys would like to see. As I said, at the end of the day, this is your team, so you guys get to decide who's who in the zoo. Right, go and get voting. We've got 11 votes so far, and it is neck and neck between Jane and Grant Williams, Cobus Reinoch, all with 33%. So we're going to need a lot more people voting here, so we can try and whittle down to one of those players. We need to get one player ahead. 12 votes. See if you can get maybe 20 votes, maybe. If you are watching, please do keep going, go and vote. It's the whole point of the show. It is supposed to be very interactive, and you guys get an opportunity to sort of show your preference and have your say. So yeah, don't be scared. Go and vote and go and add your 2 cents, and let's build us a nice little squad to go and win the World Cup in France, shall we? And again, as I keep mentioning, in August, then when the final squad is selected, we'll then do a review and see how close we got to the final squad that the Springbok management are going to be taking to France. In terms of domestic rugby, as I said, we've got about 2 or 3 weeks left, really. I think the top 14 final is quite late. I think that's in about mid-June. But the rest of it will come to an end next weekend. The Premiership, URC, as well as the Champions Cup. I think the Challenge Cup is on this Friday, actually. Yeah, final starts at 8 o'clock on Friday. Glasgow Warriors versus Toulon. So Ches and Colby will be involved in that, which should be quite fun to see how he goes there. We've got 18 votes, 19 votes. If we can get one more vote, then I'm going to close the poll there. Although I think mathematically, I think the decision has basically been made. So in fact, we can actually end it there. And the second name onto the list is going to be Jaden Hendrickse, which is probably about right. I think those two played the most last year. I do wonder if what would have been like if Kobus Reinach had been fit last year, how much more he would have played. I think that injury really giving an opportunity for Jaden Hendrickse to come through and get a lot more game time than probably anybody really thought. But now we're going to be talking about who's the last scrum half. And I want to know who the fourth person we should add in. So give me an option here. We're going to be putting in Kobus Reinach. We're going to be putting in Grant Williams. And we're going to be putting in Hershey Yankees. I want you guys to give me a fourth option. Who is the outside shot? Who would we like to see? Somebody's playing in the Humber. He's actually been involved in the Springbok setup before. He played in that Springbok Gold versus Springbok Green game, which was quite a lot of fun. So at this stage, I'm going to put Tanena Humber in there, unless anybody else throws out a name, but I think that's probably about right. So let's throw out that poll, shall we? The last name into our scrum half list. Go and vote for it down in the comments there. Let us know who you are backing to go to France, occupying that final scrum half spot. As I said, at this stage, we've got Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickse, and who will be the third and final scrum half into the squad before on Wednesday we then do our 2 fly halves. And yeah, I think Ryan Liebach, for example, is definitely going to be somebody who's going to be talked about a lot on Wednesday with regards to whether he should be going or not. Alton Yankees has been playing a lot more rugby, playing in the Brody 2. He looks to get himself back into a bit of form and get some game time under his belt. Andre Pollard in much better form at the moment. Jan Khus is not really taking his opportunities. So I think at this stage it's probably, between those sort of three. Cohen Bosch played pretty good rugby, but I don't think we're going to see him in the box setup anytime too soon. Rob Dupre's playing pretty well over there, but again, I don't think you're not going to see somebody who hasn't been part of the squad suddenly pop up in the World Cup. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. Right, 13 votes. It's our last name. So let's try and see if we can get 20 votes. Please do go and vote, and then let's see what we come up with. Get our 3 scrum halves done. Right, 13 votes at the moment. Kobus Reinach does seem to be leading the way. It seems to be between him and Grant Williams. 14 votes, 24 people watching. Let's see if we can get that 20 vote mark. As soon as we get 20 votes, I will end it, and we will have our 3 scrum halves as our squad. Nears the end, really. After this, we've got 21 or 33 players, so just 12 spaces remaining after this episode. After Wednesday, we'll have 23, and then next week we will be putting the final spots in the squad, and then we're going to be trying to build a 23 from that squad to basically like what would be our best 23. Who would be on the bench, who would start, who and where, who wouldn't be involved at all, for example, which is going to be a lot of fun. And again, what will be quite interesting to sort of start comparing the kind of Springbok teams we do see in the World Cup compared to what we predicted we were going to see, and see how much we've actually learned over the past few years in terms of how the Springbok management do operate, and whether we agree on the way they operate, whether we agree on some of the calls they make, or whether we don't. So, yeah, interesting times ahead. Do 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 do. Right, how are our votes looking over here? We've got 18 votes. Surely we can get 20 votes, people. Please do keep voting. It's neck and neck, actually. So it's 50-50. So we do need to get a lot more votes in. So if you haven't voted, please do go and vote. Please do go and throw your weight behind someone, Put the cock on the block, as they say, and back someone. And let's see if everybody agrees with you or not. Interesting to see how this has become so close. I think a year ago, Godwins wouldn't even have been in the conversation. Now, neck and neck with Kobus Reinach to see who at this stage is the preferred option. 19 votes, 20 votes. We're back to 50-50. Come on, people. Let's see if we can get the votes going. See if we can get 22 votes, 23 votes. All right, 27 votes, 28 votes. I did not vote, actually, just asking that. I don't vote at all. We can't vote. I'd have to log into a different account. 28 votes. Questions, can we get to 30 votes? I don't think we know enough people there, so let's end the poll there. Right, and Grant Williams did get some support, but a late surge at the back was enough, and Kobus Reinach will be the man on the plane, which means that at this stage we are taking Faf de Klerk and Kobus Reinach to their second World Cup, whilst Jane Henderson will be making his first appearance. So if we look at the squad so far, for example, in terms of their experience and who would be at their first World Cups, and second World Cup, stuff like that. It would be first World Cups for Joseph Dweber, Oxen Chair, Dion Fourie, Jasper Wiese, and Jaden Hendrickson. So only sort of five or six new faces that will be going to their first World Cup out of a squad of 21 so far. So it's quite a nice experience. That means that we've got about 15 World Cup winners in the squad. And I think an experience is important. And if you listen to the Springboks manager during some of their press conference stuff like that, they talk about the amount of how experience is so important. If you look at the average age of the of World Cup winning squads, they're sort of in their late 20s, and that's something that a lot of thinking goes into in terms of being able to sort of put that experience in, and how many sort of tests. And that's, they usually sort of have an average amount of sort of 30 to 40 test matches, whereas, so that's why, been getting experience. So, I mean, if you look at, for example, Malcolm Marx, Bongi Madambi, Stephen Kitsoff, Frans Moherba, I think Vincent Koch has done it, Eben Etzebeth, Louis Diago, Franco Mostert, Sia Cleese, PSG, Victoria, Dwayne Vermeulen, all played, Patrick Clerk, I think, is closing in, all played sort of 50 plus matches for South Africa. So they're all sort of half and chair. You look at Patrick Clerk, I'm not sure how many games he's played, but it'll be close to that 50 margin. I'm sure by the time he gets to the World Cup, it'll be close to 50 caps there. So a lot of experience in the number of tests that a lot of these players played, and sort of the age that they played, and I think that's important when it comes to sort of those high pressure situation. Then you often rely and you lean on that sort of experience as well. So people, thank you very much. That is the next episode done. We have got our scrum halves. Wednesday we'll be doing fly halves for 22 and 23. Then we're going to be doing 4 centers, which will take us to about 27, 28. 4 centers, which takes us to 20, and then outside backs, and then we've got an additional spot as well. We can actually even give it to a forward if you want to. We can add additional scrum half, we can add additional fly half. So yeah, that should be quite cool to see how that's going to go. Please do smash like on the video if you're new. Please do subscribe to the channel as well, as we're closing in on 25,000 subscribers. Fun fact, actually, the channel hit 8 million views this morning, which is quite cool. We're going to try and double that in the next year with the World Cup and so much more rugby. So please do be part of that journey if you are new. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys all on Wednesday for the next episode of your World Cup Squad Builder. Think about where you want to fly half, because on Wednesday we'll be voting for exactly that.